right?
Yeah.
All right, hello and welcome to episode 202 of the Mommy Gamers podcast. It is the first Mommy Gamers podcast that we've recorded in like a year. Carrie, hi.
Hello.
I'm Marcia, aka Jax, and we're here with Carrie. And just like your dad that went out to get cigarettes at one time and never came back, we actually came back.
This is like how many times we've rebooted? Look, y'all, COVID's been hard, okay? Let's just throw that out there. Like,
we can come up with a million excuses, but at the end of the day, I think that considering our podcast has existed for now almost 10 years, it's okay to take a break and come back. The trick is if you guys hear our voice again next month, then we did a good job.
There you go. There you go. Because we're committed, y'all. At least once a month. At least. Who knows? Maybe we'll throw y'all more. You never know what craziness we might do. But we're committing to at least once a month. So
maybe. But it has been a crazy year for all of us. I think, Carrie, you've had some changes in your life, and I've had some changes in my life. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's about getting started again, just like, you know, your New Year's resolutions that hopefully you guys have. It's committing to them and sticking to them past the first couple of months. So here we go. We're starting with the 1 foot in the door to start with, or 2 feet.
Yeah, 2 feet. Jump it in.
4 of our feet.
There you go. All feet.
For those that don't know, or might be tuning in for the first time, The Mommy Gamers is a podcast that we started like 10 years ago. Carrie and I are both people who love video games. We have children, and we like talking about video games and our children.
This is true. This is true.
I'm sure there's more to this than that.
Well, we also talk TV and movies and sometimes current events, although I feel like we had to give up on that a couple of years ago because it's just too much.
Got kind of toxic. Even if we talked about the current events in the gaming industry, you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
Can we title this one I Am eSports?
God, that whole thing. Oh my goodness. Did you ever see his timeline?
Yes. I happen to have seen it right when it started, but there's always something dramatic, and I feel like he did that to get like his 15 extra minutes of fame or something.
Probably.
Drama posters.
I had literally never heard of him until somebody in my timeline was like, oh, this guy blocked me and I've never even interacted with him. And it's somebody that like also works at Ubisoft. So out of curiosity, I went and like checked and I was like, yeah, he's blocked me too. And I don't even know who this is.
Oh.
I'm like, why am I blocked? I'm like, he must either be like sexist or racist or both and just not like my takes. And then somebody responded, it was like, oh, he's all of the above. And I was like, okay.
We'll let you guys Google it. You can just literally Google I Am eSports if you want to see what it is. But basically this dude went on a rant and he just yelled, I am eSports.
Yeah.
And I made this happen and I don't need any of you. And I think it tied into women in gaming and eSports.
Yeah, ESL's making a women's league. And for some reason that just like upset him. But like, because his whole thing was like, if women were good at games, then they would already be winning and you wouldn't have to have your own league. And I'm just sitting there to myself thinking like the issue is so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
Like I kind of went on a Twitter tirade and I'll just like throw it out there here as well. Like some of the issue with supporting women in gaming is so much bigger than actually like women who are already in gaming and supporting them. Yep. Like we need to normalize women in games outside of the industry because like, who knows? Like there could be little girls who, if they applied themselves or if they got into it, would be like hella good at games and would just be like wrecking everybody, but they never get into it because like in media and TV and everywhere you look, like the gamer girl is like the quirky girl or the nerdy girl, or like you never see like the prom queen then like go home and just like wreck people on League of Legends or something like that. Like,
and if you do see them, they're considered a cam girl.
Exactly. So it's like we need to like normalize the fact that like it's okay for girls to even get into this industry in a space that is outside of the industry, because there's so many that would be inspired to get involved that just aren't, because they think that they aren't allowed or would be weird if they did. I mean, that's part of the whole issue. It's not just like, and I'm not saying don't support the women that are already here. Absolutely. I mean, that is part of the mission of this whole podcast, is like, hey, you could be a mom and you can game and it's okay and it's not weird.
No,
But
it's normal.
but we also need to be yeah, but we also need to be normalizing it like outside of the industry, so that like we can inspire like more women to even get involved. So anyway, that's my little rant.
No, and like Carrie said, like we usually avoid the hot topics because I don't know about you guys, but I just don't want to. I don't want to argue, and I never felt like I was really a voice for all of that. But I agree that maybe we need to be a little bit more of a voice for that, especially since we're raising the next generation of gamers. And maybe, with our new release of the Mommy Gamers, maybe we'll bring more of that to you guys. Let us know if you want to hear that kind of stuff, because Carrie is highly opinionated on a lot of things. Well, you voice it well, and I am too, but I kind of like, in an effort to not draw attention or have people fighting or, being pulled into drama Twitter, I kind of avoid it.
And that is totally fair.
Yeah. But it's like a quitter's way out, and I know it, but like I just, people are so mean when you speak up in this industry, especially for women, and that's very apparent in this whole esports conversation. Like, ignore the gender thing. Just, why can't we make a space? And as soon as you speak up for it, everybody hates you if they're male. And it's dumb. So you can never make too many spaces for people to feel welcome and included.
Yeah. Oh, I agree completely. And it has always been like kind of a pillar of this podcast that we don't talk about like politics and stuff. And I feel like we can still keep that and keep us neutral, but maybe be a bigger voice for women in the industry and really lean into that a little bit more, because y'all, I mean, that, and I'm not going to there's been so much, let me just put it that way, like between the whole like Activision Blizzard and Riot and other companies that I'm going to admit out of my mouth, like in the news regarding stuff like this. Like, I just feel like with women in gaming, maybe it doesn't need to be talked about more, and it needs to be normalized more.
And we're raising girls in this world.
Yeah.
And my son has just turned 20. Good Lord, I'm old. He's not even impacted in that, but my 11-year-old is super into games and in the industry and curious about stuff. And I want her to be brought up in a little bit more of an inclusive world than like my older daughter was, Yeah. So yeah, you'll probably hear a lot more about that from us. You'll also hear a lot about gaming. For those of you who haven't met Carrie is, what are you doing now? You got a cool new promotion?
I did. So for new listeners, I've been a community manager with Ubisoft for the last almost 7 years. Yes, almost 7 years now. Wow. But I just recently was promoted to community developer, and I'm now the community developer for Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland. So it's like a bright new shiny position. And just to explain that a little bit for peeking behind the curtain.
I was like, Carrie, I don't know what the difference between those things is, which is bad because like I've been gaming my whole life and kind of in the industry on the offside. So I'm like, I don't know what that means. Can you explain it to everybody else too and make it sound like I didn't ask?
So it's totally fair if you don't know the difference, because the community team structure at Ubisoft is slightly different than it is at other companies. So not every company has like a community manager and then a community developer. Sometimes it's wrapped up in just labeled differently, like maybe junior community manager and senior community manager or something like that. But essentially what the difference is the community developer creates the community plan. Like, what is the strategy for building the community going to be? What tactics are you going to use in order to complete those strategies? Like, it's very high level, and the community manager is the one who implements whatever the tactics are that the community developer sets forth. Like say the community, like when I was on Far Cry, still as a community manager, the community developer had this great idea about like these what the Far Cry videos where like we would have the community send in like just insane clips of just like random stuff that happens in Far Cry because that's kind of what those games are known for. That's what makes them fun. It's just like the wackiness. So it was his idea to do that and then cut them up and share them on social media. But when I was a community manager, it was my job to actually source the videos, edit them, and then share them. So that's kind of what the difference is. The community developer is the one who like makes the plan, and then the community manager is the one who carries out and implements the plan.
I like it. That makes sense for you too, because you always have a million great ideas on everything.
I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah, you do. Like, that's not me fluffing and other like, I'm not trying to fluff her either. She's brilliant. So that's awesome.
Well, thank you.
You should be doing that kind of stuff. So
I'm excited. I've been trying to do it for a really long time. So I'm really excited that I'm actually doing it now.
And I don't keep up with Tom Clancy stuff as much. So the Division's a new one. What was the one before that?
So, well, the Division Heartland is like kind of like a side game of the Division. Like the Division is still like the Division 2 is still like the main Division title right now, and then Heartland is kind of like a side game.
Ghost Recon the same thing?
Well, Ghost Recon it's still a Tom Clancy game, but it's completely different.
I was like, I know. I played that a million years ago and we had fun. Just I'm not allowed to drive or fly in games anymore because of that one.
That was actually the game I started working on Ubisoft with was Ghost Recon.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, and I was CM for that for over 3 years.
I was so bad at that game, but
I mean, but it's fun. You know.
Cool. So you have a cool new gig.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, for kids, because we're the mommy gamers now, my kids are now 11, 20, and 22, which is ridiculous. And Carrie, your kids are
4, 9, 16, and 19. And my 19-year-old just got engaged.
Oh.
Yeah, Maru is engaged.
Interesting. Hannah was engaged for a bit, but that's off. So
yeah, I'm just kind of like, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. She was all gung, and they're fun at that age too. They're like so passionate and so gung ho about like everything, and then it's interesting to see how things pan out. So Carrie and I both have a nice little spread of kids, though, which I think makes us a little more relatable.
Yeah, because we can relate to moms with kids of any age,
or just a little more exhausted. So you got a new job in 2021, and I moved from. I've been all over the place, but I'm back down in Florida now. So I live back down in Tampa, Florida. I moved in August and I'm not leaving again. Like that's it for moving. We are in the spot that I'm going to die in. Like maybe not the same house, but
that's not morbid at all.
I can't be the only person in the world that really hates moving. How many times have I moved since you've known me? Too many.
Yeah. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I'm so ready to be in a new and bigger space because we've been in the same space since we moved to North Carolina, and yet we've added someone to our family, and this place was already small. But at the same time, I'm not looking forward to moving.
I hate it. It's so exhausting. Like, I really hope I get to stick in this one place for a while. And then I'm hoping that means I have more time to podcast and do cool things. Like play video games. Carrie, what have you been playing lately? Have you had time with the holidays? And
I haven't had just like a whole lot of time. But I did play over the last year. I think the game that sticks out in my head the most, I mean, outside of like Animal Crossing, which we all know. Which, by the way, for longtime listeners, I did clean up all the flowers off my island, and then I turned on Beautiful Island, and now I'm right back to square one, and it's overrun again.
So I kind of stopped playing Animal Crossing.
I did for a minute, and then I picked it back up with the new updates and everything. And yeah, and then I turned on Beautiful Island thinking that it would help with sticks and weeds. Sticks and weeds are still all over my island, but just now it's overrun with flowers again.
We
So
can't see them.
yeah, I gotta fix that.
I unlocked the coffee shop and then I went back and saw it, and then I haven't been back since.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of hard to keep up with it at this point,
Hmm.
but then I played that 12 minutes game.
I haven't heard of it actually.
So 12 minutes, and as soon as I tell you who's in it, you're going to be like, that's why you played it. The voice actors are Willem Dafoe, Daisy Ridley, and James McAvoy. And we all know that I am obsessed. I would seriously watch him eat bread for 2 hours and be thoroughly entertained. And it's like a time loop game where like it's almost like Groundhog Day, and this you're like having this celebration with your wife, and this dude breaks in and kills you every time, and you're trying to like figure out like who he is, why he's killing you, what's going on. It has something to do with your wife. Like it's this mystery that you have to solve.
Huh.
And when I tell you that when you find out what's happening, that you just want to like beat your head against a brick wall.
Oh
Like
no.
it is the worst ending and the worst payoff for of a game that I've ever seen.
And how long does it take you till you get to the quote unquote payoff?
I mean, it's not long. Like, I mean, it took me maybe like 2, maybe 3 hours tops to beat it. Like,
Okay.
it doesn't take long. Um, I guess it just kind of depends on like how quickly you figure things out. But it doesn't take too long to beat it. But then and it does have multiple endings. But after I got the ending that I got, I went and I looked it up, and I was like, oh, that's how it's supposed to happen. And really, there's no ending that really makes it better.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not going to
Aw.
give anybody spoilers in case they want to like play it, because it is interesting, and I want to say it's on Game Pass. Like, I'm pretty sure it's free. The voice acting in it is great. The graphics in it are, I mean, it looks like a really cheap point and click adventure PC game. It kind of plays that way. But I believe it is on Game Pass on Xbox, so it's free if you want to give it a shot. But
Nice.
I'm just warning you right now that the ending is very disturbing.
We have such interestingly different tastes in games. And I like that. You find all the weird stuff and I'm like, I'm still playing Fortnite, by the way.
I love that though.
I haven't stopped. I have 1,800 hours in the game.
Jesus.
And I can't imagine it's all like in the game. You know, I'm sure I was like sitting, hanging around, but I still stream it every Friday. I love the winter stuff that's out right now. I've had a blast with it. We were actually doing a charity event for Extra Life yesterday, and Fortnite was down all day. So that was my favorite thing about yesterday. But I'm still playing that and I like it. Do you keep up with it, Carrie, at all? Probably not.
Not really.
The biggest thing is they introduced an entirely new map. So that's the season's called Flipped or whatever. So they flipped the map and it's all new. So it's been really fun for somebody like me who's a veteran of Fortnite to like get to see new stuff finally. They changed the weapons, they're trash. I'm gonna complain about them probably for the rest of my life. But I like having something new to see after all the time. And they like changed, I don't know a lot about games, but they changed the engine for it or something. It looks amazing. So and I finally got a graphics card update for the first time since I've had my PC in 6 years. So everything just looks amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. Like I was running a 1070 for 6 years and now I have a 2080 Super and I'm really happy about it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because my stream was chugging along. Aside from that, I think the top game that sticks out for me for last year was Kenna Bridge of Spirits. Did you hear about that one?
I heard about it, but I didn't get to play it.
It's beautiful. Like the music's great. It's the prettiest game I think I've ever played ever. Ember Lab put it out, and the girl Kenna in the game, Kenna or Kina, I don't even know. She's like a spirit guide that's helping deceased people move on. And then I guess the longer people have been dead, the more corrupt their spirits have become. So like the game's full of corruption that you have to clean up, and not just people, but in the land. And she collects these little, it reminded me of like Pikmin. She collects these little friends called the Rot. and they're adorable, and you can get hats for them, and you can sit down and like talk to them, and it was so cute. But the more of them you collect, they have some power moves that help you clean stuff up, and it was just done so well that I just. Do you ever play a game where you just sit and enjoy looking at it?
Yes,
It was that
just
game for
pretty.
me. Yeah, like I was in love with it from the time I turned it on until the time that I finished it, and I was just like, huh, that's such a cool experience. So if anybody missed that one, I think it's available on all platforms. It's also in the Epic Store. It was just really pretty. The gameplay was tough, so much so that the first boss I kind of like I put the difficulty back down, but I really enjoyed it. So that would be if I had to pick a game of the year, that would be mine. And I talk about it on the next podcast too with the other girls, but it was my favorite. So that and Fortnite, and I have played fewer games last year than I normally do, but I did pack up and move multiple states. So
Yeah, that's totally fair. I'll admit I didn't play as many games last year as I normally do, but that 100% was just kind of emotional burnout. Like,
mhm.
you know how sometimes you just want to sit and you don't want to think
Yep.
and you don't want to have to work and you just want like your entertainment fed through your eye holes and like not have to like work for it. And I
Well,
feel like that's where I was for a large chunk of this year. I'm getting out of that funk, but that's where I was for a large chunk of this year.
I
I'll
get
admit
it.
it.
And I mean, as parents, we just have had so much thrown at us and it's been 2 years now. It's been too
Yeah.
much. And the fact that we have gotten through it and still found things that make us happy, like video games, that's for us and for anybody else out there listening. Good job. Because we're taught to survive, right? We have to keep waking up and keep taking care of our kids and keep going because that's what you have to do because you can't give up. But it's exhausting. So like I think the amount of games I played was reflective of that as well. Because normally I'm like playing 3 or 4 games a week. I was like, I'm going to check out that one and that one and that one. And I agree. Like I just wanted one that I could pick up and not think about. Like I wanted to go back to like Genshin Impact because I love it, but I hadn't played it in so long. And I'm like, I'm exhausted just thinking about what the controls are again. So no, I'll play Fortnite. So
And that's fair. And that's fair. I mean, sometimes it happens that way. And you know what? No matter what anybody tries to say or tell you, it doesn't make you any less of a gamer. It's totally okay to take a break, and you can still consider yourself like a gamer and take a break and then get back into it. I downloaded Halo, the new Halo recently, and I'm excited to get into that. I haven't played it yet, mostly just because I heard that you can't replay missions.
hmm,
Um, and it's something that they have to patch in. So I'm kind of like waiting for that to fix
that's
before
smart.
I play. Because the way I like to play Halo is I'll play through on like the hard difficulty, then I'll play through on regular, and then I'll play through on like legendary, heroic difficulty, then normal, which I can't remember what they call normal, and then legendary, which is like the hardest. But I mean, you can't replay missions right now, so
Hmm.
I'm just kind of waiting until I can before I
I'm the
jump
opposite
into
with
it.
games of like, give me the easiest level possible because I'm probably not going back to play this ever again and I don't want to cry.
I mean, that's fair. And, you know, with some games, I do that. Like, if I don't, like, really care too much about the game, but I want to get through it, I might do that. But, you know, Halo's like, that's like my bread and butter. So,
Yeah, you're more of a skilled gamer than I am. I'm a casual gamer. No matter how much I game, I will always be. Like, I'm amazed that I still can hold my own in Fortnite now, and actually I'm getting lots of kills and doing better. But like, it doesn't come naturally to me, and I feel like it kind of does to you after all your years of playing. Like, you can pick up a Halo or whatever and just be like, blah, 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 and I would be over here like, Carrie, I died. Jax, it's been 5 seconds.
but you
I
have
know,
so
I
much
died.
fun, and
I
that's
do,
what matters.
I do, and I have fun on easy, but you have fun on hard, and that's what makes us like kind of opposite. That's cool. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I would never apologize for being a casual gamer in my entire life. That's just how I enjoy consuming games because I look more for the graphics and the story if there's a story, and I like peeking around down alleys and being like, "Oh, look at that trash can." I don't know why.
No, I mean, but that's totally fair. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I've never done that before. Like, for me, a game stops being fun once it feels like a chore.
Yeah.
And some games, the difficulty is set where it feels like a chore. That's why I stopped playing. I stopped playing Dark Souls because that game just felt like a chore to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that some people love that super hard challenge and love just like beating their head against the wall because they feel so accomplished when they're done. But like that for me, that's just not me. Like once it starts feeling like work, I'm kind of done, if that makes sense. So I totally get your side of that. And I remember thinking, like, for all those Soulsborne games, apparently they're going to add like an easy mode. And I remember when they announced that, like Twitter just went like all just lit up because they were like, "How dare you? This is the whole point is how difficult they are." And I'm
what?
like,
Gamers complaining about stuff again? Who knew? How original.
Right? But I'm just sitting there and I'm like, no, why are you trying to gatekeep this game? Like maybe somebody, because there is a story to those games. And so why are you mad that like the company is trying to make it more accessible to more gamers? Like it doesn't like take away your nut flex of having beat it on normal difficulty. Like you can still have that flex if you want that EP stroke, but like let other people enjoy it, you know? Like,
nut flex.
Just saying.
I missed you. I did.
I missed you too.
It is true. Like, why are they so mad? But that's okay.
Right? Just like, the whole point is it's difficult. I was like, okay, well, not everybody enjoys that. Let people enjoy things.
I don't.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, whatever. I mean, there's only like certain games that I can tolerate that on. And like Halo is kind of one of them just because again, it's like my bread and butter. But like some other games, it's just kind of like, nope. Like Resident Evil Village. I have beat that game so many times and I'm on the hardest difficulty now. Of course I have like all the weapons totally maxed out and unlocked with unlimited ammo. So like even on the hardest difficulty, I just like tore through it like tissue paper.
Oh boy.
Until there's a part in the game. Have you played it? Did you play Resident Evil Village? No.
What was the last Resident? Was that the last Resident Evil game?
Yeah, the one with like the tall with big vampire lady.
So the
like,
one before that is the last one I played, and I gave away my copy to Mike Robles after playing it for about 3 or 4 hours. I was mad at it, and I wasn't good at it, and it made me angry, and I never went back to them again. I'm not good at them. See, that's the difference between you and I. You like the challenge, and I'm like, I hate this. It's scaring me, and it's hard. Somebody else take it.
That's totally fair.
Yep.
So 8, one of the really fun things that I love about 8, though, that they didn't have in 7 is like the unlocking and game plus modes. Like the weapons that you have at the end, once you beat it, you can carry into the next game, which you couldn't do in 7. And I love that about 8. So I just like grinded it out until I had the Magnum, which is like it's a one-shot kill weapon pretty much for most enemies. Like I'd say anything that's not a boss, it's a one shot kill. One shot kill. But like there's this one part of the game where you switch from playing Ethan, who's the main character, to playing Chris Redfield. And because it's 2 different characters, like Chris just has the guns he has, the weapons he, you know,
Chris always has the guns.
Yeah. But he's, you know, he's just got the weapons he's going to have. You don't have any of your upgraded stuff with him. So it's like his section of the game is truly whatever difficulty you're on because all of your upgraded stuff is taken away. And I've gotten to that part in I think it's called Book of Shadows, or Village of Shadows, something like that. Somebody I'm sure in the comments somewhere will correct me. But the hardest difficulty.
People never like comments, so you're probably fine.
Well, there you go. I got to that part, and I'm just like, I'm done. I don't think I'll ever end up beating this at this point. Like, it's too hard. I'm like, I can't. I've looked up YouTube videos and to find like some tips and tricks that I haven't tried yet. So maybe I just need to do that. But
God bless YouTube.
Right?
I really love YouTube. If I get stuck on anything, I'm like, somebody has to have made. I recently played this game called Epic Chef by Team 17, and I love Team 17 games, like My Time at Porsche and all that. there were so few people playing it that there were like no YouTube videos on it. And I was so mad. I was like, somebody make me some YouTubes. Because I didn't want to have to figure it out for myself.
I mean, that's fair. That's totally fair. And again, that's basically what I did with Resident Evil Village, but I just haven't gone back to try to finish it yet because every time I think about it, I just get exhausted. And then I'm just like,
Nope.
I'm going to rewatch Lucifer again.
There you go.
Instead.
I didn't leave a lot of space in here for TV and movies, but we do typically talk at length about TV and movies. But I feel like we talked about 5 video games already.
Yeah.
And then we caught up, and then we ranted about I am eSports. My goal is to try and keep the podcast about 30 to 45 minutes. Again, in the comments, let us know if you guys want longer shows, because I don't know how long you guys listen to stuff. But I personally, on a podcast, I get kind of bored after a half an hour. I'm like, da, da, da.
And that's fair. That's totally fair.
How long do you listen to usually, Carrie, on a podcast?
Depends. Mm-hmm. Like, I listened to one the other day that was like an hour and a half long, but it was basically a crime documentary.
Oh, well,
so
we should make our podcast more like a crime documentary.
Well, I mean, it took that long to get the whole story out.
True.
So, I mean, I was just like doing laundry and just like engrossed, but no, I mean, normally I don't have that much. For me personally, I won't have that much time to listen to a podcast because I'll listen to it like in the car, or again, like when I'm doing laundry, or if I go on a run or something like that. So,
but the car is a good point. So our goal with this, for those of you guys chilling in your ears, what was I going to say? I don't know, is to do 2 shows a month, and I'm going to try and release them. I'm going to release them on Monday mornings. So whatever time zone you're in, when you hop in the car in the morning, you're going to have a podcast. I'm going to try and do it like 5 a.m. Eastern time. Have them scheduled so you can look forward to that Monday mornings, basically every other week. And we're going to try something new because we have brought on like 2 other people who are really gung-ho moms that want to be part of the Mommy Gamers. And they want a podcast too. So Divine Omega and Smalls and I will do a podcast once a month, and then Carrie and I will do a podcast once a month, and then you'll get like just a ton of voices in your ear, which I think will be fun, like to get some other perspectives, because those girls have younger kids, even though you have a 4-year-old, but they're like, I don't know, I think it'll be a nice mix. Like Divine lives in Japan and she's more of a PC gamer. Smalls lives in Wisconsin and and she's more of a Switch gamer. So we're going to have more reviews as the goal for the Mommy Gamers, because last year I think we put out like 5 pieces of content. More podcasts, and like Carrie said, like she and I know how we are. We'll probably, once I get back into the habit of putting stuff out, we'll get more motivated and want to probably do more episodes. But you'll get them on Mondays, and that is my promise to you guys. At least every other week, and I can stick to that, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also keep an eye on the Mommy Gamers website. We're going to be kind of rehashing the Mommy Gamers YouTube channel. So by the time this podcast comes out, there should already be a stream on there. So Carrie has talked about maybe wanting to do some videos possibly down the road on there.
Heck yeah, bringing back the Kiba rants.
Those are
going to happen.
Like really fun. So I'm going to take a live stream slot there once a week and share some family-friendly stuff. Divine wants to stream. I think Smalls is going to make it'll be fun. We're going to figure out YouTube, because that's an up-and-coming place right now for video. I mean, it always has been a great place for video content. But for streaming, it's going to be an interesting space to watch this year, I think.
Yeah, no.
I'm more of a streamer. So I'm super curious about it. So that's just, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun stuff for you guys to watch. And then you're going to get to hear Carrie and I at least once a month. And I know you missed us so much.
Yeah. I miss doing this.
I do really too. Did. I don't know why I put it off for so long. I think I was just stressed.
You've had a big year.
Yeah, but I've moved. It'll be 5 months ago by the time this podcast comes out. So holidays are over. The move is done. I'm settled in. My daughter's settled in her new school. It's time to get going. So let's go.
Let's do this.
But yeah, if you guys have questions for any of the shows, reach out to us. The best place is the comment section on the Mommy Gamers website. So just go to themommygamers.com, find the podcast, drop a comment, or hit us up on Twitter, which I don't really check it that often. Comment section, website, please.
Do it.
Yeah.
You know you want to.
I think they should. Only if you want us to like read your comment and say your name and be like, oh, thank you, Bethany, for your question. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's bring back the questions.
Yeah, because it gives us a little extra something to talk about. Although you can tell by listening to this that Carrie and I can fill a podcast.
We have no problem talking.
All day. Carrie's like, well, it'll probably be like an hour, because we haven't talked in so long. I'm like, 30 minutes!
It is true. Marcia did draw the line. I was like, no, 30 minutes. We're
30!
done.
Maybe 45.
I was about to say, but you know we could have gone an hour.
Oh, I can go all night.
Ooh.
Yeah. But let's do this again soon. Thank you guys for listening. I'll put our contact info again on the website too, if you guys want to stalk us. I feel like by now you know where to find us. If Carrie wants to shout hers out, she can. I'm just tired of saying my name and trying to hope you guys can spell it.
I am Kiba13 on most things. KEEBA13.
Yeah, and I'm Jaxbox Chick, JAXBOXCHICK on literally everything. Please don't Google me too deeply into the interwebs right now. But thank you guys for listening. This is going to be the 10th year of the Mommy Gamers existing. So I'm hoping this is more like a relaunch and we come back and you guys can find us everywhere. We've got a Facebook page, we've got a Twitter, we've got a TikTok. Everywhere you look, you will find the Mommy Gamers. Definitely check out the YouTube channel as well, because we'll be bringing some content there. And just love us everywhere. And if you see us in a place, welcome us back and be like, hey, we're so glad you're back. Unless you're not, and then just tell us we're trash. Your comment's a comment.
Yeah, see, there you go. And you know what? Even if you tell us we're trash, we're just going to assume that that's like Forky and we still make you warm.
Yep. Because you took the time to comment, which lets us know you care. Anyway, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I hope that all of your dreams come true and that you set really great goals and you crush them the way I'm going to crush this podcast out.
Yes, do it.
I think that's what you got. I missed you, Carrie.
I missed you too.
All right. I'm done recording now. Goodbye. Bye.